Hey, today we're talking about this tool that I really, really like. It's called the 2% rule. But the question I want to answer right now is what does the 2% rule have to do with anything? And the answer is not much if you don't know what it is. But let me ask you this question. I bet you're a bit like me, and sometimes you have ideas and things that you know you want to do, things you know you should do, but you don't think you have enough time to finish the thing all the way, so you don't even try to get rolling. What one of those things for me could be whenever I was starting to write my book, that was a big part of it. Like I've never written a book before. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how long I'm supposed to write. I don't know how long it's going to have to go. I'm not sure the best way to go about it. So what's the move? I was processing this and talking through it after I finished the book, after I lost over 100 pounds, after I learned to be a beginning tap dancer in my mid 40s, which is true. After I'd done some of those things, I was talking with a friend of mine, and she said, it sounds like this 2% rule thing, like that's not just something that you do, it's not just something you talk about, it's something you actually do. So I want to break down the math of it all first, and then we're going to see how it applies to leadership, and not just leadership, but how it applies to life. So it's essentially math. Okay, you've got 86,400 seconds in a day. That's not tricky. It's just math. 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour times 24 hours in a day. So whoever they is, they say you're supposed to sleep 8 hours a day. We don't. We typically sleep less than 8 hours a day. They also say we're supposed to work 8 hours a day. We don't. We typically work more than 8 hours a day. So you've got this. It's essentially like a pie chart. Okay, you've got this pie chart, and you've got three sections, and each one of them is supposed to be. It's 8 hours, but 8 hours is 28,800 seconds. So we've got 28,800 seconds for sleep, for work, and then the remaining time is our discretionary time. So we've got 28,800 seconds for our discretionary time. Now, I was thinking about that discretionary time. Like that's time for Netflix, that's time for Sports Center, that's time like if you play your guitar, it's time for walking with your spouse, it's time for walking with your dog. I guess time for all of the things that matter, all of the fun things you get to do with your kids. Like this um, third section here for the discretionary time, like it's time that's unaccounted for, but we have every single day. And so I don't think you should spend all of that time on one thing. I don't think I should either. But the thing that really got me to thinking about is I thought, okay, well, if I have all this time, um, I can't devote the entire 28,800 seconds. Also, I know most people don't speak in seconds, but I can't do that. But there's got to be a way to quantify something that's pretty regular that we're already doing. And so I started working on some math stuff, and I thought, oh, this is easy. I can for sure figure this one out. And so when I call the 2% rule, because 2% of the discretionary time is roughly, it's 576 seconds. But I can't ask you to do anything for 576 seconds because then it makes me sound like a weirdo. So we're not doing 576 seconds. But let me ask you this question: have you ever said, "Oh, I could do anything for 10 minutes"? Yeah, you and me both. Uh, because we can do anything for 10 minutes. When I look at the discretionary time and say, okay, now if I could do it for 10 minutes, okay, what can I can't repot all of the plants that we have, okay, on the honeydew list. But I could invest 600 seconds or 10 minutes in one. Okay, now we're getting progress. I can't do a full go to the gym workout with 12 sets and 30 reps or whatever it is that you do. So I can't do that, but I could do something for 10 minutes. And then you're stacking those sections of 10 minutes on top of each other. It's really an idea, not the title of the 2% rule, but the idea is habit stacking, and it's in James Clear's book Atomic Habits, where he says every action you take is a vote for the person that you wish to become. It's that same thing, whether you're trying to work out, whether you're trying to write a book, whether you're trying to become a chef, you want to learn something new. This idea of doing something for 10 minutes, it's a tool. Now, what I know about tools is you can use them to do good. Also know if you're holding a hammer, sometimes everything looks like a nail. Okay, yeah. But what I know about tools is you can use them to do good, but I also know you can flip them over and then use them as a weapon. So what I don't want us to do is say, "Oh, well, you've got 10 minutes to do this, but you don't have 10 minutes to do this other thing." I don't want us to use this 10 minutes as a weapon because then it's not going to be productive. It won't be productive for you personally. It won't be productive for your family. It won't be productive for you at work with your team. So this idea of the 2% rule, it's really just setting a timer for 10 minutes. And then you're looking at 10 minutes of focused activity. So if I'm going to do some outreach to chambers of commerce, for example, well, I can't reach all of the chambers in the state of Oklahoma, which is where I live. I can't reach them all in one day or even probably all in one week. But what I can do is I can get my timer and set it up, and I can set it for 10 minutes, and then I can stack those times. Now, but wait a minute, Mike, you said that this was for discretionary time. Yeah, yeah. It's just a brick. It's just a block of time. What you choose to do with it is up to you. Um, what I lead leaders to do, because here's what I know about leaders. All leaders manage something, but not all managers lead. So what I really try to coach up for leaders and department managers and positional leaders who have a leader or manager in their title, really anyone who has anyone that reports directly to them, what I try to help them do is, listen, if you could take the number of people who report to you, let's say it's five. You take the number of people who directly report to you, you write them down on a sheet of paper, and then every day, work backwards, utilizing the 2% rule. Every day before your shift starts, you're going to come in. Okay, person number one is Troy. All right, write down Troy. And then 10 minutes before my shift starts, I start thinking about Troy. Okay, how can I lead Troy better? Not manage him, not catch him doing something he's not supposed to be doing, not go start none of that craziness, which I know happens in most organizations. But if I can look at one person and take one person on my team and, okay, we're going with Troy on Monday. Okay, before my shift starts on Monday, I'm thinking about Troy and how I can lead him better. Most leaders, a lot, not most, a lot of leaders that I talk with, they say, "Hey, Mike, we need to manage our people better." Okay, listen, careful. Managing people is like trying to push a rope. Like that doesn't work really well. We lead people, we manage processes, and we measure and improve results. The measure and improving is where the 2% rule comes in, right? So if you will focus on Troy for 10 minutes before your shift starts, and then as you go throughout the day, you're looking for ways to encourage him, you're looking for ways to include him, ways to just be a better leader for him. And then at the end of your shift, invest another 2% of your discretionary time. And then answer two questions. What did I like best about the way that I led Troy today? And then what will I do better next time? And then you start making a list. Like again, you don't have to make an exhaustive list. And it's not till I get 43 things. You're just investing time. I don't spend time and I don't waste it. I try not to. I try to invest time. And it becomes a lot easier when I can look at units and identify them for something like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And when I leverage this 2% rule, then when I'm writing my next book, Communication Culture Volume 2, then I'm not actually just writing. I'm not trying to get even 500 words. I'm setting a block of time, and I'm doing units of 10 minutes. And when you look at it that way over the course of a day or even over the course of a week, you can look and see, oh, well, I wrote, for 30 minutes a day. That feels differently than saying, well, I stacked 3 units of writing today times 5 days. Okay, I stacked 15 units of writing. Of course, I'm going to be able to write and publish a book when I do something that way. If I just sit down to write, it's not as easy to make sure that that's what I get to do. I have this timer that I got straight off of Amazon. It's one of my favorite tools that I use, really. And it's called a Pomodoro timer. And it's got different sections of time. It's got 10 minutes, it's got 5 minutes, it's got 60 minutes, and it's got 30 minutes on it. So far, this video, I know you know how long it's been. It's been just over 10 minutes right now. I'm using this tool as I'm illustrating and defining what the tool is. All that's doing is giving me more and more, it's helping me build the belief in myself and in the tools that I'm using more and more. One of the things that's really difficult for most of us is we have these conversations with ourselves, and they're rarely good. Most of the time, when you're talking to the dude in the mirror or the lady in the mirror, you're not encouraging them and telling them how great they're doing, or recognizing something that they're doing good. Something that I wrote about in chapter 8 of my book, Communication Culture, Volume 1. I call it Leadership 101, but I've been talking about this for almost a decade. Leadership 101 is simply what gets rewarded gets repeated. And when you catch yourself doing something good and you get a reward, doesn't have to be a Snickers, could be whatever it is. Maybe it's an extra walk on the beach, walk at the park. Like, I don't know what it is for you. A little more time on Netflix. I don't know if you put time limits on your phone or anything like that. Maybe you unlock an opportunity to spend a little more time on Instagram or whatever your favorite social media platform is. Maybe a little more time to watch Mike Conn on YouTube. I mean, I don't know what it looks like for you, but the thing is, once you have something that's measurable, then you can count what you're doing, and when you count what you're doing, then you make what you're doing count. It's not tricky, and it's not just word games. It's something that really helps. Well, it helps me, and maybe it's something, I'll hold it in my hand. Maybe it's something that can help you as well. This whole idea of getting tools, I try to put handles on hope, give you some tools to be able to do a version of what you're doing a little bit better. And it doesn't always turn into a book, but you may not want to write a book. That was important to me. And it's not important to me so I can just sell books. It's important to me because then I get to help people. Then I get to help people feel seen and feel valued. Then I get to help, as John Maxwell said, when he was asked, why did he start writing books? He said, I started writing books because I want my influence to extend beyond my personal touch. I'm recording this video in my office here, but if I only could help the people that came to my office, it would be good and it would be helpful. But because of the internet and because of the ability to go and speak, because of the ability to have books and write books and have a YouTube channel, all of these different things, these are just tools. They're not good or bad inherently. It's all up to you. It's all up to me. That's what I like about words is, like, again, it's tools. Are you using it to manipulate someone, or are you using it to persuade them into something that's better for them because of what they said? And the way that I would frame that and reframe that, and here I'm just about to end this video. The way that I would reframe that to end the video is because of if I were talking to Mike, I would say, well, hey, Mike, because of the fact that you said you want to write a book, write and publish a book. Because just because you write it, parentheses, just because you write it, if you're anything like me, you've got stuff stored on your hard drives or your flash drives that just haven't made it out into the world yet. So you've written stuff, it just hasn't been given to the public yet. So for you to be able to write and publish a book, this is what I did. It might also be helpful to you. I started with 10 minutes at a time. And then I started with a topic. I started with a problem that I wanted to try to solve. And then you're not just sitting down with a blank sheet of paper trying to write stuff and fill it up. You're saying, okay, well, this is what I do. This is how I can do it. This is a measurable time that I'll be able to use. And 10 minutes is doable all the way back to this graph. 10 minutes is doable. You could do anything for 10 minutes. And sometimes you'll want to take an extra lap, and that's okay. But what happens when you do this? You're building the belief of the person who would write and publish a book. Not just think about the things that you wish you could do, but all this stuff's in the way. I never have time. I can't stay focused for whatever. You can say I can't stay focused for this amount of time, but then you go back and you look at your Excel spreadsheet or your Google sheet or however you're tracking it. And then all of a sudden you say, oh, okay, well, now not only was I able to make some progress on it, but this 1 week, I stacked 15 units of time of writing time. And if every unit is 10 minutes, that means I wrote for 150 minutes. Wow, that's pretty awesome. When you write for an hour and a half in one, that's actually 2 hours and a half, Mike. When you write for 2.5 hours in 1 week, now you do that for a couple of weeks in a row. Now we're really stacking stuff, and we're making some big progress, right? That's the whole idea that I wanted you to get from this video. A 2% rule. It's my rule. Doesn't have to be your rule, but I'm holding it in my hand and seeing if it's something that might make sense to you. And if it does make sense to you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. What's something that you've done for 10 minutes that you know you could do again for 10 minutes? Maybe not something that you typically always do, but it's something that helps you become a version of the person that you wish to become. I'd love to hear that. Don't forget to subscribe if this matters to you. If you've enjoyed any part of this conversation, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me get the message out and get the word out. You can also come see me at mikeconn.com or mikeconcoaching.com. This isn't an advertising push. This is me just telling you this is where I live online, and there are lots of tools that I have for you there. Thanks for investing some time with me today.